Hey, hey, party people in the place to be. It's Blag Dahlia, and I'm back again with dirty, filthy, nasty Donny.
Here I am.
We're doing this episode is a special one. We're going deep into the history of Dirty Donny. You might not have heard this one. We are going to play you a track by Donny's first band. This is Poopoo, Kaka, and the Bum Bums, Bus Face.
I can't get my fucking TV to work. I was hoping to watch the new Poopoo, Bum Bum, and the Kaka's video. Fuck. You know, like, just because you got to take the bus to your gig don't mean that you ain't, like, a fucking proper band. Like, you know, lots of people, I take the bus all the time. Like, it's the way to go. It's the way to travel. It's fucking like a limousine, and you can get as loaded as you want. So, you know, I just got a big case of bus face over here. Poopoo, Kaka, on the Bum Bums, you guys take the bus all the fucking time. It's the way to travel. Like, nothing wrong with a little bus face. Woo! Bus face!
Always dropping marijuana on the bus. Bus face! You're looking at me. Bus face!
Wow, Donny, that was incredible. And I'm going to start out by saying I like this better than 100% of the Canadian punk records I've ever heard.
I love that.
This is so great. And so now, was this your first recording ever? Tell me about this.
It was.
Tell me everything.
All right.
Now, am I getting the band name right?
Oh, yeah, Poopoo, Kaka, and the Bum Bums. Yeah. I can't believe we're doing this. I can't believe they talked me into doing this. Because we're rolling on a few other songs.
I love this.
I don't know. It's like, this is my first band. Oh my God, yeah. So I was 18 years old, and it was all my friends I grew up with. So like, never be in a band with all your buddies, right? So we just like we're just dumbass teenagers. Like, well, we're bored, so we might as well, like, there's a bunch of instruments at my friends. Our friends lived a couple doors down from my parents' house, and they were in a cover band, and they would play like clubs and stuff, and they all had like pro instruments. So the rest of us that didn't play would go down and just kind of make noise, you know. And we started to like. And Trevor, the drummer, is we're still like, he's one of my best friends. We're still like, you know, I've been friends with him since I was a kid. And Trevor is like the funniest guy I know. And so like the whole joke, let's call it Poopoo, Kaka, and the Bum Bums. We can't play. Let's have stupid songs with like stupid lyrics. And so it was just dumb. You know,
dude, I love this. I mean, this to me is punk rock in a nutshell, and a perfect example of that. Like, hey, we don't know how to do this, and yet somehow you stumbled into doing it and catching the vibe correctly of like, this is folk music. This is what a bunch of kids from Ottawa who were not trained come up with.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I love
totally,
this.
man, totally. I mean, the guys that had the cover band, our other friends, they were really good, you know, and they were like, turn that awful shit and stop playing. Like they wanted to shut it down. They were not into it, you know, and like you guys have no business, you know, playing with our fancy gear, you know, our friends still, you know, so it was fun. I mean, we were all just partying and stuff. But anyways, we ended up like, we actually kind of like pieced together a few songs and we brought it to my parents' house. Next was 2 doors down and my folks were like, just, you know, as long as the kids they're not on the street, we know where they are, you know, they're making noise. So they're really cool. And so we were jamming in the basement.
So your parents encourage this kind of thing.
They do. Yeah, they do. They still do. Yeah.
And when you said Poopoo Kaka, they didn't blink at that. They were okay with Poopoo Kaka.
My name is Dirty Donny, so you know, it's like that's my art name. So
how long have you been Dirty Donny?
Well, it's a kind of a, you know, I put it back to a Big Daddy Roth thing. I was reading one of his old, like, he used to do these fanzines on how to pinstripe and I'd buy them from Moon Eyes. And I was just kind of starting out my freelance career, starting to get paid for artwork. And in that, he said, he's like, it's good to have a nickname. And my name is Donny Gillies, but everyone gets they pronounce my last name wrong. Gillies, Giles. So I was like, it would be way easier if it was just kind of like Dirty Donny. I did a fanzine too called Dirty for a few years. And I was like, well, Dirty Donny, it'll be easy to remember. So it's kind of was sort of
branding, primitive branding. It works.
Primitive branding. Yeah, it was a business move. Now I don't give a fuck, but it is what it is. I kept it, you know. Anyways,
I love this track, but the way it's presented, I mean, we watched it on YouTube. We didn't actually listen to the record. So did this come out as a 45 or something? Is there a copy of this somewhere?
No. We didn't have money for a 45 Blag. That came out as a demo tape.
Okay, so it was like a cassette.
Cassette, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
and was it commercially available? Like you sold it at shows, or was this like a couple of your friends had it?
We did, yeah. We started playing shows, so it went on, and we started playing shows, and we did the tape. It was 5 songs, and you know.
Did you design the cover with your Dirty Donny style?
I was kind of the art director of the band. It was sort of like one of my sort of art projects, and Trev did all the artwork. Does like little kid art. It's amazing. Like his art's amazing.
Okay.
And he's so we put together Trevor's artwork with my graphic design at the time, and we put together this tape. We made crayons, so it came with a crayon. Like you get a little Poopoo Kaka crayon and you know, stickers
brown crayon.
Yeah, totally. It had all kinds of crap in it. The tape was full of, so you could barely get the tape closed. It had all kinds of like junk in there, you know, like fold out poster. And we went all out on the merch, made shirts and stuff. But yeah, the tape sold out. We sold 100 tapes right away, and we were like, wow, this is kind of cool. And so, and also like the local bars and clubs were giving us like $100 a show and free beer. So we're like, well, this is great. We suck, but we're having fun. We're getting free fucking beer. We're getting paid $100, and like, you know, so we can split it, you know, $20 each or whatever. There's like, you know, fucking 5-6 members, you know.
See, Canada always a little more socialistic.
I'm getting high, I do it all the time, and when I get it twisted, I get my telling lies. I hope it don't offend you like everything you've been through. I'm getting high, I do it all the time. Now is it all the time or just a time or two? It really makes no difference, not to me and not to you. The things I might have done and said have all been swept aside. The simple truth, my friends, is that I lied. Not really gonna get a job or make the dean's list. Blow this all to smithereens and then tell me who means this. Be the man from Mars who got a condo out on Venus. You just knew this had to rhyme with Venus. I'm getting high, I do it all the time. And when I get it twisted, I get my telling lies. I hope it don't offend you like everything you read through. I'm getting high, I do it all the time. Now do you really have the time to lose your mind? It simply makes no difference what somebody calls a crime. The things we might have done and said are never what they seem. The simple truth, I am, therefore I dream. I'm not really gonna give a thorough explanation. Blow this hall, the kingdom come igniting up the nation. See the man who had no plan except to rep like Jesus. And you knew this had to rhyme with penis. I'm getting high, I do it all the time, and never get it twisted. I get my telling lies. I hope that this offends you like everything you've been through. I'm getting high, I do it all the time. I do it all the time. I'm getting high.
In America, it's like, you guys suck, but you can play here for free, all right? But we're going to treat you like shit.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? In Canada, it's like, hey, you guys are okay.
How's
Come on by. Here's some free
beers.
beer.
Yeah, you guys want to play for beer tonight? Got a couple of 2-4s, you know, like totally that was our band, you know.
Dude, I love Canada, and I always have. Like, I have to put in a little pitch just for the country of Canada because I cap on them a lot and their bands and shit. But at the end of the day, it's like the America I grew up in, where people were actually kind of nice to each other.
Yeah.
I say the same thing about Australia. You know what I mean? It's like, it's America without the fucking constant hatred and player hating bullshit. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, I don't know. I'm very pro Canada.
Yeah.
I wish they were nicer at the border, but even at that, I think the reason they're not is because they take it seriously promoting their own artists. They don't just play American stuff on the radio. They have a rule that says we're going to play Canadian stuff. They believe in their own culture and they push their own culture. It has gotten them to be assholes at the border. They do fuck with bands a lot more than they should.
Yeah, that goes back and forth. That's from Canadian coming into America. They do the same thing, so it's kind of goes both ways.
Is that true?
Yeah, I've had a hard time getting in, and then you know it's both ways for
I
sure.
hadn't heard that. So what is it that people are
Border guy told me one time I was going through and we were chatting and he's like yeah, when the American side, like when they kind of like when they're fucking with our people, we'll kind of like fuck with their people.
Reciprocate.
They all work in the same area, you know. So when they hear complaints, they'll it'll kind of like
see.
It'll go in waves.
Right. That makes sense.
I think the best thing to do is to drive through one of the smaller borders, you know, if you're
right.
driving through and the less hassle.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, what I've found is that flying is a lot easier because people who fly are richer.
Yeah.
And rich people don't get treated as horribly.
Yeah.
Because my experience is driving over, it's always a fucking thing. They pull everything out of your car. They're doing all this bullshit.
Well, if you're a band,
Even
especially
when
if it's your band.
Yeah, but even when you have a visa, you know, then they're looking askance at you. Like, it's like, look, we applied. We did things right. We have a visa.
Yeah.
What's the problem? But,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a small complaint because ultimately, you know, cops are cops and they're going to do what they do. But I've just gotten so much love in Canada, and they are very open about embracing American culture in a way that, you know, because really Canadians are American culture. I mean, like, we don't really consider them different.
Yeah, I
You
grew
know
up
what I
in
mean?
American
We don't
culture,
really
yeah,
consider it a different country, which in a way is kind of disrespectful because it's like, no, this is a different country with different traditions and different things. But I think we just view it as like, oh, they're us.
Well, it's so similar. I mean, it's so similar. There's slight differences, you know. And I mean, I grew up in American culture. That's why I moved to the States. It was like pop culture. I was coming here to San Francisco, and I was going back to Canada with more money than I left with because I was doing posters and shit with like people out here, you know. And I was like, this is a place to be. Like, they got it there, but not as much as they did here. So that's kind of why I'm here. But I mean, back to the band with the worst band name in the world. Yeah, it's like we got voted worst band name in the world. Yeah, and some paper.
Yeah, that's
at some
what.
point.
So I see this on YouTube.
It's all an inside joke. It's like a bunch of dumb friends that actually like, wow, we're getting $100 a fucking gig and beer
for being Poopoo Kaka. I love this.
Yeah.
I mean, this to me is punk rock. But I'm curious about the YouTube clip, and I guess you can look it up on there as voted worst band name ever. That's what it says.
Yeah.
so it starts with this kind of guy who I don't know if it's an exaggerated Canadian
is the whole
voice, but
thing.
he's got the
Yeah.
flannel shirt on, and it's sort of like, hey, yo, you know,
That's
like it's
Terry from Fubar, the movie. So
Okay.
Terry is a character played by my friend Dave Lawrence, who's an actor, and they have
yeah,
a movie.
because it's a
they
great
have a
kind
movie
of
called
Bob
Fubar.
and Doug thing
Right.
that the guy's doing.
Oh yeah, he's
I love
he's
it.
part of the hoser genre. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, he was on the Trailer Park Boys. Do you know that show? The Trailer
Oh,
Park Boys?
yeah. Now,
So-
I really liked the Trailer Park Boys. I mean, it
Yeah.
seemed to be kind of an acquired taste.
Yeah.
But once you got the feel of what they were doing, my favorite thing was just that Julian always had a drink in his hand. Am I getting the name right?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
it
yeah.
Julian?
Yeah.
I dug Trailer Park Boys. I mean, they do repeat themselves a lot, yes. But then again,
I mean,
every
they got like 20
television
seasons or
show that
something, you
runs
know?
for 20 seasons exactly
Right.
is going
insane.
to repeat itself.
So Dave has a couple of movies out, and he's got his own series. He had his own series with Vice. Actually, I have a part in his Vice show. They flew me out to Montreal, and I did a little. Like I painted his custom van. I drive up like, hey Terry, here's your van. 10 seconds on that.
But this was years after this came out. He wasn't like a buddy of yours at the time that recorded this thing.
This is a new video. So I did this video a couple of years ago
Okay.
as a tribute to my old band, and I got Dave, aka Terry Fubar, to do like the intro
is
bit.
brilliant.
So
It's
'cause
like
he's
a
modern,
meta version.
because he's doing this shit right now. So and everyone in Canada knows who Terry is. He's sort of like famous hoser, So
Right.
So and I've known the guy for years. He's a good friend of mine. So I was like, Dave, can you do this this bit for me? He's like, oh, I totally got this.
Wow.
We do favors
yeah,
for each other.
because it lines it up so perfectly.
Yeah.
And then you hear the song, and look,
It's a 4-track recording. I mean, it's
a
like, I mean,
4-track recording,
yeah.
and it's exactly what it needs to be. It doesn't need to be recorded better than this. It doesn't need to be played better than
If
this.
it was, you would hear all our shortcomings. You'd
To me, this
like-
is rock and roll.
Like
I mean,
Trevor's drum kit was from a garage sale. It was all different colors, and like the skins were like dented in. I mean, we ramshackled this band together, like it's with duct tape and love.
That's part of the
Like,
beauty
it's
of it.
like-
I mean, to me, this is what punk rock is, and it's also just what folk music and folk art is. The whole idea is, I mean, if your band is supposed to be a garage band, but they pumped $100,000 into your production, you've kind of negated it immediately, And a lot of people have that trouble with my band because, of course, we started out super low budge and just doing what we could. And after a while, I got to the point where I was like, but I already made that record. And so I want to see if I can make a record that sounds good and has some ear candy. I like pop music. What can I do as pop? But there is definitely a whole group of people. And I'm thinking right now of another Canadian friend of mine, Allison, who had a group called Teen Crud Combo.
Allison Baker. Yeah,
we should play some of
a
that.
mutual friend of ours.
But
yeah,
Allison, when she's honest with me, just admits like she doesn't like any of the Dwarves for the last 25, 30 years. I mean, she loves that tiny little period of the Dwarves when it's very garage.
Walking wild at midnight, breathing like a panther, holding hands with my love, dancing like a master, calling all destroyers, calling all destroyers, yeah. Shadow Beach burgundy, get you high as light.
And then that point when it kind of gets to Blood, Guts, and Pussy is still acceptable. And then sort of everything after that, and there's a lot of Dwarves fans who are like this. They're just like, look, dude, close but no cigar, And I get it.
Yeah.
It's like when you're a kid, you do things in a certain way. When you've got no money and no experience, you do things in a certain way. And sometimes that's the beauty of it. If there's a
Right.
band called Kaka, this is what I want to hear from them. To me, this is 100% of what it needs to be.
We had no choice. We couldn't be like a garage band, a metal band. We weren't good enough. We didn't even know. We're just like, let's just make it.
Right.
And that's what came out. Angry teenagers, just punk and just just angry.
Well, we talk about lyrics on this show. Tell me about the lyrics to this song, because there is a paranoia to it. It has something to do with riding the bus,
right?
And then it kind of repeats this one. What is it? Staring at me.
So nobody.
Tell me what the lyrics are now, and kind of how it came about.
Like, got on the bus, staring at me. What's your problem? Why are you staring at me? What's up? Why do you stare at me? So you know, you couldn't get more dumb than that. You know, Jeff, you're great, but I mean the lyrics, like, yeah. I mean, he's a way better. Like, these guys have gone on to be musicians too, and they
true?
They make great music in Ottawa and stuff, and they have they've got really cool stuff. We can put links below of their projects, and but this is all of our first band. And the funny thing is like. People go up to Jeff, the singer, and Ryan, and they'll be like, you know, you're in that band and stuff, and they're so embarrassed because it was so bad. And I'll tell people when they're around, I'll be like, oh, that's the singer. That was his band. Like, I was following him. Like, that was all him. You know, he's like, shut up, man. You know, yeah, they're all embarrassed. I don't give a fuck. You know,
he's trying to hide it.
Yeah, totally.
Tell me the names of some of their bands.
They
let's see, they had a band called.
Yeah. Anyways, where I was going with that was I don't remember, but
you don't remember all the lyrics, but can you give me some more of the lines? Like, I got that part about why you look at me, why you look at me.
Well, Jeff was paranoid.
What were the verses?
So we would all take the bus. That's the deal. Like none of us had a car, so we'd all take the bus. And Jeff would be like, "Man, I was on the bus. Everyone was staring at me. They always stare at me on the bus." I'm like, "Dude, they're not all one group of people staring at you. It's like everyone's an individual. Just like everyone's bored. They're sort of like, oh, who's getting on the bus? You know." But he would take that personally and come to jam all pissed off. And so like hence the lyrics. Yeah, totally. So that was
now were people staring at him in his mind because he was a punk rocker, because he looked different, because he had some clothes on?
Looked different, and just was a little paranoid, looked different and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. It's a good old Jeff.
Can you remember any of the lines?
I love Jeff. He's a great guy. You know, it was. I mean, that fueled a lot of our projects. You know, his getting upset. You know, in public. So, you know. But I got another story about the band. We were playing around Ottawa a lot, and we got a reputation going, and we were starting to kind of like actually make progress. And we're like, wow, we're making a couple of bucks, and we're getting a lot of free beer. This is great. The train's going, it's moving. And so we play this bar. We get a gig. It's called the Glue Pot Pub, and it was like known to be kind of a hippie rock cover band bar. And we go to play this bar, and nobody shows up. There's like nobody there. We're this other band we're playing with, and this is like our friends. There's like 8 of our friends there sitting at a table, you know, having a beer. So like Jeff gets bored. We get bored. People are drawing on the walls in the band room. Someone wrecks a chair. Jeff gets in a fight out front with somebody, like some stranger on the street, you know, and like.
Now, is this the 1980s?
It was
a lot more common.
Early 90s.
Early 90s, yeah. Because there was a lot more fights in the scene, and it wasn't taken so much as like an affront. It was more like another Saturday night. I think like the relationship people have with fights now is different, and the relationship like young people have with fights. Like when I went to school, like there were fights, and it happened, and then it was kind of over. And, you know, it was sort of the teachers and students kind of took it as a part of the natural course of things. You know, I think now it's like as soon as there's a fight, it's like we're taking your child out of school, we're recommending, you know, psychiatric care, and you know what I mean? And it's kind of the same with the scene. Like anyone who hits anybody or does anything, it's like you're out, you know. Whereas like the scene I came from was a lot like, hey man, I'm sorry about last week when I smacked you. You know, like you could kind of make friends again, and it wasn't such a.
And that happened within our band too.
Right. Yeah.
You know, it wasn't just people that we didn't know. We were fighting each other. You know. And
well, the Ramones would fight each other on stage, right?
On stage, right. Yeah, well, there's all kinds of punching going on, and but that was growing up when I grew up. That was just what you did, and Ottawa was like a hockey town, man. People just went out and fought when they had a problem, and that's just how I grew up, man. I don't know.
You know, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world. I mean, it's because I think, you know, it encourages things to be over. I think now people have their beef and it lasts for decades, you know. Everybody's mad and seething, and they're still mad about whatever happened.
Yeah, now people fight with their cell phones. They whip out their phone and they try to film each other, and they try to try to cancel each other. Like, my people are going to like see this, and you know, so I see kids fighting, but they're all like chasing someone down the street with cell phones, and like I'm like, wow, is that so? Yeah, if I ever get in anything
out, and they want proof to use in court. Everything is going to a third party.
Yeah.
You know, it's like we're going to go to the principal, or at work, it's we're going to go to the boss, or, you know, with neighbors fighting, we're going to go to the cops. Yeah. You know, it's very much like an infantile, scared way of approaching life, you know, where it's like, look, you're playing your music too loud. I'll go to your house, knock on the door, and go, hey, could you turn the music down? Most people these days, it's like, no, the music's too loud. The first thing they do is call the cop. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the vibe, right? So you guys were... you're at a show, a fight comes out, and what happens?
Fight happens out front. That's just one of the giant laundry list of like complaints that this promoter guy had. Like, it's like, you guys got in a fight, you wrecked the band room, you brought your own beer like to a bar. No, I get that, nobody came. So basically this dude, like,
nobody
came. This guy's
I've heard that one a time or two.
This guy is a fucking asshole, and he called all the people he knew, all the bars and all the promoters in Ottawa, and he's like, Poopoo, Kaka, and the Bum Bums, they're trouble. Don't book them. They
Who
suck.
would imagine from the name that it might be trouble?
Right.
Poopoo, Kaka.
Right. So I got some calls from some of the guys. They're like, yeah, this guy's like, telling people like, I'm like, oh, well, that was fun. It's over. So like our $100 and our free beer. Okay, that was fun while it lasted. We did our thing. We did our tape. We did, next project kind of thing. And then I get a phone call at my parents' house. I lived in their basement at the time, and it's like, this is my name is Shane Smith. So it's Shane Smith from Vice magazine. Later on, at the time, he booked a club called the Thunderdome in Hull, Quebec, which is across the river from Ottawa, walking distance. And Thunderdome was a new alternative club.
We don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. All we want is life beyond the Thunderdome. Looking for something we can rely on.
And he's like, I booked the Thunderdome, and I heard you like wreck the glue pot. I was like, well, we kind of wrecked the glue pot. And he's like, well, I think that guy's he's an asshole, and like, fuck that place. And like, do you want to open for the Random Killing from Toronto? Do you want to open for them at the Thunderdome? I was like, wow. Yeah, totally. So band not over, beer train not over, $100 not over. So we played the show with Random Killing, and it was Shane Smith ran the joint, and then he called us back to open for DRI.
Someone's gonna always try to stop you from the place of play. Seems to happen every day. Almost like it's got the pain, but who's to know and who's to say?
Which is rad, another show. And so we started playing with SNFU, and we kind of became that band. And we broke up about a year later, but and the next year we played like opening slots that you would want to play as a local band when bands would come through town,
Happened so fast, he didn't have time to think. Or maybe he had too much of it, too much to drink. When he went right enough into the bright sunshine, turned out to be the lights of a car. Can somebody help me, please? Straight this man up off the road. Can somebody help me, please? I cannot do it all.
So we came-
And then
we did-
Shane went on to, did he have a fanzine then or something? Or they went on to make Vice at some
No,
point?
he moved to Montreal, and then they started Vice as a paper. It was like a weekly, and then it became Vice as you knew it, and then now it's kind of where he's at now. But yeah,
I was curious. See, I wish I still had a brain because you just hit on something that I thought was really interesting, and I was going to go way in depth on it, but I've completely forgotten what it is.
well, that's my problem,
So
man.
now,
I'm surprised we got this far. Actually,
Me too.
three podcasts in. I'm like, wow.
Dirty Donny Part 3. Well, look, it's been wonderful running down this Canadian episode with Dirty Donny on songs and lyrics.
This is where the DJ talks. Don't say anything.
Okay.
Good day, welcome to our single. I'm Bob McKenzie, and this is my brother Doug. How's it going, eh? Beauty, eh?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Okay, everyone, this record was my idea.
Get out.
It was.
You're lying.
Pete Hosehead here just sort of rid on my coattails.
Why are you doing this? It was our idea together, eh?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay.
We agreed to say that, but take off.
Take off through the great wide north. Take off. It's a beauty way to go. Take off through the great wide north.
Decent singing, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Okay, so good day. Our topic today is music.
That's right, like, because my brother and I are now experts in the field,
Yeah,
eh?
right, because we're a band now. And, yeah,
well,
so-
except for him. I'm a band.
Oh, how can you do that making me look bad? You're such a hose hand.
Yeah, well, take off.
Take